This is Mac OS Ken.
A positive note on Apple holiday sales, confusion continues around Private Relay, and several stories from TV land. It is Wednesday, the 12th of January, 2022. I'm Ken Ray, and this is news from Mac OS Ken, brought to you by yours truly and sponsored by BetterHelp. Online counseling that's there for you. Get 10% off your first month at betterhelp.com/macOSKen. This show is also sponsored by SimpliSafe, the right way to protect your home. If you have ever wanted to make your home feel safer, now is an excellent time, thanks to SimpliSafe's 20% off New Year special. What makes SimpliSafe great? Well, I like it because it has everything you need to make your home safe. Indoor and outdoor cameras, comprehensive sensors, all monitored around the clock by trained professionals who send help the instant you need it. I also like how easy it is to install. I had my sensors, base station, and keypad up and running in under an hour. I like the lack of long-term contracts. And I like the fact that SimpliSafe was named Best Home Security System of 2021 by U.S. News and World Report. If you have ever wanted to make your home feel safer, hurry. Take 20% off your SimpliSafe system, and your first month is free when you sign up for the interactive monitoring service. Visit simplisafe.com/macOSKen. SIMPLI. Again, that's simplisafe.com/macOSKen for 20% off your entire system. One of the folks at one of the banks has been eyeing credit and debit card transactions and saying good things for Apple. On Tuesday, Benzinga wrote up part of a note from KeyBanc capital markets analyst Brandon Nispel. He's had a look at the firm's Key First Look data, or KFLD. That consists of spending data from over 1.8 million unique KeyBanc credit cards and debit card customers in the U.S., but not international figures, according to the report. And that shows serious buying over the holidays. Apple CFO Luca Maestri set strong expectations for the holiday quarter. On the last earnings call, he said the company expected every category except for iPad to beat revenue for the same quarter a year earlier. And yet, Benzinga says the street's expecting a below-typical seasonal growth quarter due to tough compares with the holiday quarter of 2020. Checking transaction statements, Nispel's siding with Maestri. Looking at the the KLF. Anyway, the info that he's seen indicates an 18% sequential growth in the fourth quarter, stronger than the previous 3-year average of 13%, according to the report. For the quarter, wrote the analyst, the data tells us we should expect slightly better than historical growth for hardware in the upcoming quarter. And it's not just about how Apple did. Nispel sees the anticipated holiday numbers as a good sign for things to come. The analyst says the sales have led to increased confidence that despite supply constraints, Apple's U.S. hardware growth should remain strong. KeyBanc has an overweight rating on Apple shares. The firm's price target on the shares is $191. An Apple analyst of note raised his price target on Apple shares on Tuesday. Not sure why. He's an Apple analyst of note at this point. His targets have been trailing Apple's share price for years, and they pretty much still do. I am referring, of course, to Bernstein research analyst Tony Sacconaghi. The Fly ran the shortest of blurbs on Sacconaghi's move. Quoting half of it, the analyst believes Apple benefited significantly from the pandemic and sees risk of more muted earnings growth over the next few years. He missed the pandemic growth as it was coming, for what it's worth. Whatever. He's holding his market perform rating on Apple shares. He did up his price target, though. It was $132. It is now $170. Apple shares closed Tuesday at $175 and change. Foxconn's problem iPhone factory in India is set to open up again. You remember the one, scene of some serious food poisoning, which led to hospitalizations, which led to protests, which led to arrests, all of which led to Apple investigating the factory, which led to the company finding overcrowded living quarters, toilets with no running water, and, according to one village-level administrator, no safeguards to prevent COVID-19 infections, all of which led to Apple putting the plant on probation. An Apple spokesperson said at the time that the company was working with the supplier to ensure a comprehensive set of corrective actions are rapidly implemented, and rapidly was apparently the key word. Well, a key word. Hopefully corrective was the key word. Fingers crossed. 9 to 5 Mac cites a Reuters report that says, after 2 weeks dark, the Foxconn facility is firing up again today. Not that everything is hunky-dory. The plant is still on probation as far as Apple is concerned. The Reuters report says reopening will go slow, with no more than 100 folks back in action. Full tilt, the plant employs about 17,000 people. The piece has Apple saying in a statement that workers will start to return gradually as soon as Apple is certain its standards are being met in every dormitory and dining area, hence the 100 people to start back. Someone said to know something about something tells Reuters it could take the plant more than 2 months to resume full production. For its part, Foxconn is quoted in the piece saying, "We have implemented a range of corrective actions to ensure this cannot happen again, and a rigorous monitoring system to ensure workers can raise any concerns they may have, including anonymously." Following up on T-Mobile and others blocking the use of private relay here in the States and in the UK. No, they're not, say, checks notes. People on Twitter. Seems crazy to base something like this on people on Twitter, but they seem to be what we have now. Recapping what we heard earlier this week, 4 carriers in Europe wrote to the European Commission asking the Commission to block Apple's implementation of private relay, meant to keep carriers from scoping the sites a user visits, targeting them with ads, and selling their information. The carriers argued that Apple's private relay could undermine Europe's digital sovereignty and make the carriers' own networks not run as efficiently. While T-Mobile was among the carriers asking permission over there, the piece from 9 to 5 Mac said it appeared that carriers such as T-Mobile and EE had already started blocking private relay usage when connected to cellular data in the UK, and that T-Mobile was also starting that process here in the States. Affected users were reportedly getting a message saying, "Your cellular plan doesn't support iCloud Private Relay. With Private Relay turned off, this network can monitor your internet activity and your IP address is not hidden from known trackers or websites." For its part, T-Mobile said it was not blocking Private Relay and that the only customers blocked from using the service were the ones who applied some sort of content filtering service through the carrier. We take you now to the digital town hall / screaming match that is the Twitterverse. Sean Jenks on Twitter replied to the 9 to 5 Mac piece, pointing out that T-Mobile actually hasn't been a thing in the UK for about 10 years, so they can't really be blocking things in the UK. That prompted a response from Kindred98, who piled onto the 9 to 5 Mac piece saying, "FYI, not sure where 9 to 5 get their info from, but EE doesn't block it." "Au contraire, mon frère," replied Mr. Jenks, saying, "Well, they do for some, same as Vodafone does for some, but it works fine for me. However, I don't think it's the carriers doing this. I think it's to do with IP tracking settings in the cellular data section of settings." Not that they're likely to tell the truth, put in Kindred98, but EE support tells me it's fully supported and even has a guide on how to use it. Now, what led me to that whole exchange was a comment from Bloomberg's Mark Gurman, apparently quoting T-Mobile here in the U.S. They're said by Gurman to have said, "Overnight, our team identified that in the 15.2 iOS release, some device settings default to the feature being toggled off. We have shared this with Apple. This is not specific to T-Mobile. Again, though, we have not broadly blocked iCloud Private." Gurman then directed followers to Monday's 9 to 5 Mac piece for more information, though that had not been updated since the T-Mobile statement about content filtering. It would have been really neat of Mr. Gurman to elaborate, like indicating which feature defaulted to being toggled off. Mac Rumors thinks it knows. They read Gurman's statement as T-Mobile indicating that something in iOS 15.2 is toggling Private Relay off. But wouldn't that just leave a toggled switch rather than a message saying, "Your carrier doesn't play this way"? It would be really cool if Apple would say something about all this. I have reached out to the company, though pennies tossed into a fountain have yielded more concrete responses for me than I have ever gotten from Apple. It seems Sweden's not the only new land being eyed for HomePod Mini. I told you earlier this week of reports of test units being sent to Swedes, with the obvious conclusion being that Apple's sort of smart speaker will be offered there in the foreseeable future. Well, there may be plenty more where that came from, or where it's going, or in that general vicinity. Mac Rumor says it's hearing of tests underway for Danish and Norwegian, in addition to the aforementioned Swedish testing. Based on these reports, the piece says it is likely that Apple is planning to launch the HomePod Mini in several Nordic countries this year, including Sweden, Denmark, and Norway. Siri already supports Swedish, Danish, and Norwegian on iOS, but Apple is still testing these languages on the HomePod Mini to ensure it provides the best experience possible. The site sees releases in Belgium, the Netherlands, Russia, and Switzerland as probable as well. Mac Rumors points out that the speaker gained support for languages spoken in those countries as part of a software update released in December. More concrete than the anticipated HomePod Mini expansion, news that Beats Fit Pro are hitting new markets in the next couple of weeks. Seen by many as a worthy competitor to Apple's own AirPods, a piece from Engadget says Beats Fit Pro have most of the key features found in Apple's third-generation AirPods, including hands-free Siri, adaptive EQ, and spatial audio with head tracking. Beats added active noise cancellation as well as a flexible wingtip designed to keep the Fit Pro in your ears during workouts. Available in the U.S. since the first week of November, Engadget says Apple will start taking orders for Beats Fit Pro in Canada and Europe on the 24th of January. Orders are expected to start in Japan one day later, Tuesday the 25th. They're set to ship just a few days after that, plugging people's ear holes on Friday the 28th of January. If you are curious about Beats Fit Pro, by the way, the NosillaCast podcast's Allison Sheridan recently bought a pair to replace her AirPods Pro. You can read her thoughts on her blog at podfeet.com. More news in a moment, but first a word from BetterHelp, online counseling that's there for you. Is something getting in the way of your happiness? If not, good for you. If so, help is out there. BetterHelp, sponsor of today's show. Here's how it works. You go to their app or website, you answer a few questions, and BetterHelp goes to work finding the right licensed professional therapist for you. Then you work with them on stress, anxiety, grief, self-esteem, whatever it is that's holding you back. And you do it in the way that's most comfortable for you. My last counselor and I used a combination of phone calls and text messages, all of it safe and secure inside the BetterHelp app. If you're hoping your problems are just going to go away, they're probably not. But help is out there. BetterHelp. As a listener, you'll get 10% off your first month by visiting today's sponsor at betterhelp.com/macOSKen. HELP. That's betterhelp.com/macOSKen. Join over 1 million people who have taken charge of their mental health. Again, that is BetterHelp, HELP, betterhelp.com/macOSKen. And thanks to BetterHelp for sponsoring today's show. Tons of Apple TV Plus talk today. Apple TV Plus has made a hire for Europe. Variety says award-winning producer Dr. Franziska Gassen has signed on as a creative executive for Germany, answering to the streamer's creative director for Europe, Jay Hunt. Throughout her 25-year career, the piece says, Gassen has produced, developed, and co-produced more than 50 films and TV series, including Grumpy Olaf, Mary, A Matter of Size, Thailand, To Die For, Christmas for Beginners, and that list just keeps going. No word on exactly what she'll be doing for Apple, though with a quarter century in the business, a case full of trophies, and a list of titles as long as your arm, my money's on more of the same. Apple's added a big, weird-sounding film to its future plans. The Cupertino streamer issued a press release Tuesday announcing the Beanie Bubble, apparently chronicling the late 20th century craze that was Beanie Babies. According to the release, the Beanie Bubble is inspired by the story behind one of the biggest speculative crazes that blazed through American culture in the 90s. It pulls back the curtain on the absurdities and injustices of the American dream, particularly the female relationship to it. It's a celebration of the women who helped power Ty Warner's success, whose strengths and good instincts shaped and amplified the phenomenon, but whose names are not on the Beanie Babies' heart-shaped tags. Based on the book The Great Beanie Baby Bubble, Mass Delusion and the Dark Side of Cute, Zach Galifianakis, Elizabeth Banks, Sarah Snook, and Geraldine Viswanathan are set to star. Written and co-directed by Saturday Night Live and Futurama's Kristen Gore, the other director is OK Go's Damian Kulash. This is the first film greenlit as a result of the first look deal between Apple and Imagine Entertainment for scripted films, according to the release. And did I not say that the film was both big and weird sounding? The morning show is coming back for a third season, and it's bringing a new showrunner with it. Apple issued a press release earlier this week announcing the renewal of the Jennifer Aniston, Reese Witherspoon, Billy Crudup, Mark Duplass, and tons of other people drama. The new showrunner and executive producer is Charlotte Stout, with such shows on her CV as Fosse Verdon, Homeland, and House of Cards. Stout's time on the morning show starts a multi-year overall deal for scripted TV series with Apple TV+. The Sky is Everywhere is almost here. Based on the best-selling Jandy Nelson young adult novel of the same name, Apple says the film tells the story of 17-year-old Lenny Walker, a radiant musical prodigy struggling with overwhelming grief following the sudden loss of her older sister. She falls in love, though that's complicated by her relationship with her sister's former boyfriend. Through her vivid imagination and honest, conflicted heart, says Apple, Lenny navigates first love and first loss to create a song of her own. This is the second scripted film co-produced by Apple and A24, the first being the Bill Murray, Rashida Jones flick On the Rocks. The Sky is Everywhere is on Apple TV Plus, beginning Friday, the 11th of February. Apple has dropped a trailer and a premiere date for the Uma Thurman thriller series Suspicion. Describing the series, a press release from Apple says when the son of a prominent American businesswoman, Thurman, is kidnapped from a New York hotel, The eye of suspicion quickly falls on 4 seemingly ordinary British citizens who were at the hotel on the night in question. As they find themselves in the transatlantic cat-and-mouse race to evade the combined forces of the National Crime Agency and the FBI to prove their innocence, it becomes apparent that not everyone can be trusted. Who is really behind the mysterious abduction, and who is only guilty of being in the wrong place at the wrong time? While Thurman may be the show's biggest star, she is not the only one. Other members of the cast include Kunal Nair of The Big Bang Theory, Noah Emmerich of The Americans, Georgina Campbell of Black Mirror, Elizabeth Henstridge of Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., and that list goes on as well. The first 2 episodes of Suspicion hit Apple TV Plus on Friday, the 4th of February. Other episodes land 1 per week on following Fridays. Between now and then, you can catch a trailer for Suspicion on YouTube. And finally today, Apple has first-hand knowledge of something like the Beanie bubble. No, I'm not talking about the way iPhones and Apple Watches fly off the shelves and play hard to get. I'm talking about the Apple-branded microfiber polishing cloth the company introduced back in October. Made with soft, non-abrasive material, Apple's description says, the polishing cloth cleans any Apple display, including nanotexture glass, safely and effectively. Hardly sounds like a barn burner, but you know how some things just catch the public's attention at just the right moment? Pet rocks, Cabbage Patch Kids, Beanie Babies. Yeah, last fall, Apple's $19 polishing cloth turned into one of those. Sales started in October, and almost immediately the thing sold out. 4 months. But it's been months, and they're back in stock. While the polishing cloth does not seem to be available in stores right now, a piece from Mac Rumors says it is available to order from Apple's site, with delivery promised in days, not weeks. As of this writing, ordering one from Apple's site would have it buffing my display, nothing kinky, by Friday, the 14th of January. macOS Ken, brought to you by me and sponsored by Simply Safe. Get 20% off your system plus your first month free when you sign up for interactive monitoring service at simplysafe.com/macOSCan. This show is also sponsored by BetterHelp, online counseling that's there for you. Get 10% off your first month at betterhelp.com/macOSCan. Advertising handled by Backbeat Media, online at backbeatmedia.com. You can reach me a couple of ways. Info at macoscan.com or call 716-780-4080. Until next time, that is news from macOS Ken. I'm Ken Ray.
Ciao.